Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today, I will explain about my simple video on my experiment about rocket. So, yeah, my rocket is DIY. So, let's get started. Now, I will explain about my model. So this is my rocket that I used to launch it. So first we have the fin, which make it a little bit aerodynamic. I have 3 of it, make it stable for it to stand. Then we have the nose of the rocket, which make it more aerodynamic and make the rocket launch smoother. Next we have the plasticine, Play-Doh that I use to make the rocket heavier. And then I have this like cork used to put in this hole and build up pressure as air will be pumped into this little thing, into this water. This rocket contains 400 milliliters of water. So here we have the weight W at 0.52 kg, the initial velocity U at 0 meter per second, the displacement D at 8 meters, and time T at 0.8 seconds. So I put the information, the data in table form. So next we need to find mass M. How to find mass? You need to use the formula of weight divided by g, which is the gravitational acceleration, as a value of 10 meter per second per second. So we insert the data into the formula, and the final result we will get 0.052 kilogram. So the mass of the rocket is 0.052 kilogram. Next, we need to calculate the final velocity. We need to use the formula of V equals to D divided by T, which means displacement divided by time. So we look at our table here. D is 8 meters and divided by T, which is 0.8 seconds. So we calculate it and we will get 10 meter per second for the final velocity of the rocket. Next, we have the acceleration A. We need to use the formula of A equals to V minus U divided by T. So we insert the data that we got from the table. We need to look at the table. 10 meter per second, the V, and minus by 0 meter per second U, and divided by T, which is 0.8 second, and we will get 12.5 meter per second per second. Therefore the rocket moves at 12.5 meters per second each second. I will explain about how actually the rocket launch. So we look at my model, my rocket that I used to launch it. And look at the screen here. You got this cork in this hole, and we make it very tight, and the air cannot come out. So as we put the water inside, then we put up the cork, which the water that I measured for my launch is 400 milliliter. When we pump the air into this bottle, the pressure builds up. Why? Because the air cannot come up. So the pressure builds up in this little bottle. So as the pressure builds up, when this cork can't handle the pressure anymore, the cork will pop and the water will burst out and make and will generate thrust force and will make the rocket launch. So basically, this is how the rocket actually works. How can we increase the accelerations of the rocket? So we know that the water that bursts out will generate thrust force. So more pressure means more intense the water come up, which will make more thrust force is being generated. One of the solution is we can reduce the amount of water. Why not we increase the volume of the water? Because it will make this rocket heavier. So when the rocket is heavier, it's harder for the rocket to launch. So by reducing a little bit amount of water, we can reduce the weight and increase the thrust force of the rocket. Now we look at the clip that I have prepared. This rocket contains 400 milliliters of water, and this rocket contains 200 milliliters of water.